What is going on, everyone? Welcome back on Block Gems. So this is the weekly update on Metaverse land with on-chain data that you will be able to find only on this channel, guys. So remember to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button. Let's jump right in. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I talk about the sandbox and the central land. So two Metaverse in the blockchain space that are particularly big, particularly relevant in the NFT space. And one of the reasons why I talk about these projects is that it is rather difficult to assess metrics such as floor prices, average prices for the land assets specifically. In the case of the sandbox, we know that the other assets that are not land, so could be characters, objects, or anything else, are together in the same collection with the land. So it's very hard to tell the wheat from the chaff, and we do not have a chart that indicates the average price and the volumes for each given day that we would normally have for other collections. At least we are not able to segment it for land-only assets. So if we look at the floor price for land, visibly it's super easy to notice that the floor price has been going up, but it is also important to look at the on-chain data to understand the transaction prices. And this is exactly what we're going to do right now. And if we zoom in, the price of the vast majority of the transactions seems to be above 0.4, and the floor price has been going up steadily in the past couple of weeks. We were witnessing a 0.3637 floor toward the end of September, in the last week of September, but now we are easily at 0.45, 49, sometimes even higher than that. If I zoom even further and I give you really a detail of all the transactions, you can see this clear line that is forming, and this is the floor price. Of course, there are exceptions and sales that occur below floor price. That happens all the time in any collection, that some people really need to liquidate hard very, very quickly. But in general, the floor price has been normally above 0.45, which is a very good indication of floor price increasing throughout the last couple of weeks. Also, floor price is a story, but it's not the full story. There is also the story of the average price. So it is true that the floor price has been rising, but what about the average transaction price? So the average transaction price is telling us a similar story. If you look at the last couple of weeks of September and also the beginning of October, we see that, okay, there are bumps, there are ups and downs, but in general, the average transaction price has been going from a 0.5 to a 0.7. Of course, today, the day of today is not closed yet. We could have surprises later on in the day, but in general, we see a tendency to increase the value of the average transaction price for the sandbox land. I always told you, don't sleep on the sandbox land, because this is the ultimate NFT alpha in terms of an information that is hard to spot, some data that are hard to find, an asset class that nobody's looking at right now, where everyone is looking at PFPs, are at these 10K collections, and this is an area of the NFT space that is slowly but surely becoming more relevant, even in terms of prices, and yet it is hard to notice. It's not in everyone's face as for many other collections out there. When it comes to the central end, on the other hand, prices have been going down, and remarkably so, in the last 10 days or so, as we can see here. And people at the same time have been able to strike pretty awesome deals. For instance, this one is probably the deal of the week. An asset that was priced by the AI at 9,700 roughly mana, 9,700,000 mana, roughly speaking, was purchased at 8,000 mana. And this is an asset that stands right close to a a road and also relatively close to a double road. And these are typically the assets that are the most expensive, also because it's also relatively close to the main plaza. So we could define this one as the deal of the week. Now, guys, thank you very much for following this video. We will talk about Metaverse Land again next week. If you enjoy this kind of content, please remember to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and also, very importantly, guys, subscribe to the BlockGems NFT whale alert. This is a completely free service. What it does is that it tracks sales of the big guys. It tracks the sales of the big NFT whales, and it tells you if they're selling, what they're selling, and how fast they're dumping stuff, if they are. Okay, we have been already seeing the value that this tool can offer. Completely free, as mentioned. Subscribe and actually follow. And thank you very much for your time, and see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.